Good morning. Welcome to the Cohn Phone. My name is Grant Cohn, and I run the Cohn Phone. I'm in charge of the Cohn Phone, and I'm going to be taking calls today for, I don't know, maybe the next hour and a half. We'll see. It's a venting session. This is time. This is a safe space for you to let out your feelings and still be, you can still be a fan. You can still root for the 49ers. You can get out these thoughts and emotions, purge yourself of the negativity, and then move on with love in your hearts for the 49ers. But I want to go first because I don't root for this team. And why I'm perturbed with their offseason. I'm going to put it like this. Not why I'm perturbed. What I would have done this offseason if I were the Niners GM. Clearly, I'm not the Niners GM. I'm just quality control for now. But I would have done things a lot differently. The way I look at it is the Niners are basically saying they're contenders this year, but they're not really in a position to go all in and really push all their chips in and say, forget the future. This is our optimum time to win a Super Bowl. This is our moment. Because they don't even know who our quarterback is. You know, is it Trey? Is it Jimmy? How could you really go all in when you don't even know if Trey's ready or if Jimmy's the guy, who you're starting that year? I say, who cares who the starting quarterback is? I was talking about the Super Bowl window with Larry Krueger on this channel a few days ago, and he said the Super Bowl window is closed. I've been thinking about it a lot. I disagree with Larry. I didn't say it on the show. I've been thinking, sorry, Larry. We'll see. I'm going to see you today. I disagree. The Super Bowl window is open. You know why? Because of Deebo fucking Samuel. DFS. We're going to call him DFS for the rest of the show, all right? The Niners have Deebo fucking Samuel. DFS. Best player in the league. 26 years old. Super Bowl window is open as long as he is healthy and relatively cost-effective and not old. He's all those things right now. Go for it. Like, you almost won the Super Bowl last year with Jimmy Garoppolo playing like the worst quarterback in the playoffs. Am I wrong? Almost won the Super Bowl last year with Jimmy Garoppolo playing terribly in the playoffs. He had 8 different injuries. His shoulders, his thumb, everything. Almost made it. Didn't make it because they couldn't get the ball to Deebo Samuel down the stretch. He brought him a foot away from the finish line. They tried to go on their own, couldn't do it. DFS wasn't allowed to win the game for them. He could have dragged him to the Super Bowl last year. It was a missed opportunity. They're the best player in the league. Should have won it. Didn't win it. Probably would have won it had they had Trey Lance or any other quarterback or just given the ball to Deebo 2 more times. 3 more tunnel screens. One of those could have gone for a touchdown. That's how his season went last year. When they were down 3rd and 20 with the season on the line, they gave him a tunnel screen. He went for 84 yards. In the 4th quarter, they couldn't do that. Anyway, so the Super Bowl window is open. It's called Deebo Samuel. It's called DFS. So what would I have done to maximize the Deebo Samuel window this year? Well, I think it's interesting. Like, we're looking at all these teams go all in right now. Now, we've been focused on Miami because Mike McDaniel's there. They bring in Tyreek Hill. That's a big all-in move. But Miami's not winning the Super Bowl. They're not contenders. Forget Miami. Let's look at Kansas City, all right? That's a championship organization. That's a team that has as good of a chance to win the Super Bowl as anyone this year. And they traded Tyreek Hill. And that's interesting. A lot of people think like the comparison there is Tyreek to Deebo. Both wide receivers, both going to make about $30 million. But Tyreek's older. Tyreek's 28. Deebo's 26. Tyreek is Kittle's age. They just traded their Kittle because Tyreek's game is all built on speed. Once the speed goes, his value goes. The Dolphins think it's not going anywhere for a while. But if you look at Tyreek's numbers, last year, great year. 11 yards a catch, career low. 4 yards per reception after the catch in yak. 4 yards per reception, career low. You might think, hey, this is the time to trade Tyreek Hill. He hasn't fallen off yet, but it's coming. Every time the Chiefs decide to get rid of a player, they're right. They never do it a year early, unless I'm missing something here. So it's interesting. They got rid of their 28-year-old speed merchant in their offense And what they do? They also lost Charvarius Ward, Tyrann Mathieu, but in getting rid of Tyreek Hill, they get Juju Smith-Schuster, who also averages 11 yards a catch. I mean, if that's what Tyreek Hill's going to be now, they got that for a lot cheaper. And they got Marquez Valdes-Scantling, deep threat. They got Justin Reed. They got Melvin Ingram. They kept Frank Clark. They got a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a fourth-round pick, a fourth-round pick, a sixth-round. So, I mean, did the Chiefs lose the offseason? Or did they get rid of an asset who's not going to be an asset soon? Did they play the Dolphins, replace one player with 4 starters? They got 4 starters: Juju, Valdes-Scantling, Reed, and Ingram. So this brings me to what I would have done this year. I'm inspired by the Chiefs right now. What I would have done as the Niners general manager this year, you know what I would have done. I made it clear all offseason. 2 players I wanted to trade: Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle. I would have You can wait on Kittle. I'm going to explain the Kittle thing in a minute because it has to be a post-June 1 designation. You could do it on draft night. Let's start with what I would have done. Trade Jimmy Garoppolo to Indianapolis for that 3rd-round pick before Deshaun Watson was cleared of the charges by the grand jury. Trade him when the Colts were interested and didn't know that Matt Ryan was going to be available. No one knew Matt Ryan was going to be available. The Colts were interested. The Niners held out for more. They blew it. I would have taken that 3rd-round pick. For starters, I would have entered free agency with $25.5 million in extra cap space. And then you're all in with Trey Lance at this point. And you can spend this money on, you could keep Laken Tomlinson, or if you want to upgrade, you could go get Brandon Scherf or something. You don't downgrade to Aaron Banks. You could still have Charvarius Ward, or you could go get J.C. Jackson. You could get Marquez Valdes-Scantling. You could get Justin Reed. You could get Lyle Collins. You could get Austin Hooper. There's so many guys you could get. Because most of the time when you sign players to 3-4-year contracts in free agency, the first year is very cheap. You give them a signing bonus. It gets more expensive down the line. As everyone knows, the salary cap is exploding the next few years. It's not as big of a deal. You can sign these guys. And you could even have space to front-load a deal. They could have had Laken Tomlinson and J.C. Jackson and Austin Hooper and Lyle Collins. But no, they kept Jimmy Garoppolo. So I would have traded Jimmy. I would have spent all that cap space, all of it, to go all in with Deebo Samuel and Trey Lance too. But it's not about Trey Lance. It's about Deebo going all in now because he's 26 now. He's had injury issues too. What's he going to be like in 2 years? What's he going to be like in 1 year? I'm not missing this opportunity. It's football. He could tear his ACL. Funny things happen. He frequently pulls his groin and hamstring. I want to go all in right now while he's the best player in the league now. So you spend all that money, you get a replacement you sign a tight end in anticipation of trading Kittle, Hooper, whoever. And then when the draft comes along, which is, you have another month to do this, although they can't because they extended him. They freaking extended George Kittle. Anyway, they extended George Kittle. Instead of doing that, they could have traded him on draft night for a wave. Tyreek Hill gets a first, a second, a fourth, and a sixth. I'm thinking Kittle gets a first and a second. Trade him for the first and the second with the post-June 1 designation. It means you get the picks now, you free up the cap space later, and you can use that cap space to sign your draft picks and work out extensions with Deebo and Bosa, although their cap numbers are going to be the same this year with the extensions. They're going to get money down the line. They're extensions. You don't even need to create cap space this year for those guys. But anyway, you can use Kittle's money to sign your draft picks. You get a first and a second for him. So now you end up having a first-round pick this year, 2 second-round picks this year, 3 third-round picks this year. And you end up getting 4 or 5 starters in free agency for the price of Kittle. I'll take it. Because I don't even know if Kittle's going to make it through the season. I don't know how many games Kittle's going to play this year. It could be 8. It could be 12. It's not going to be 17. I'll tell you that. I would do what the Chiefs just did with Tyreek Hill. Trade my 28-year-old guy who's built on speed. Because when they kept Kelsey. Kelsey's a red zone threat. Kelsey's a possession receiver. Kelsey is durable. Kelsey scores touchdowns. He's going to be valuable into his 30s. Kittle, 11 red zone touchdowns in his career. When the speed and yak ability goes, it's over. Kind of like with Tyreek Hill. So I would have filled every freaking hole in free agency with a good vet, courtesy of Jimmy Garoppolo. I would have got a 3rd-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. I would get a 1st and a 2nd-round pick for George Kittle, and I would use that cap space to sign the draft picks. And you would get a first and a second round pick. Those are more starters. That's what I would do. I would do what the Chiefs did. I said the Niners did what the Niners did. All right, let's talk about what you would do in free agency. Boom, in the chat, in the description. I would have done what the Chiefs did. Yeah, I'd give Deebo Samuel $30 million to play with Trey Lance. You can afford it. You're not spending $30 million on a quarterback. That's the way I look at it. But now let's talk about what you guys would have done in free agency. If you've got the courage to come on the show. I know you guys are at work. Yo, what's up?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Happy Friday.
Thanks, man.
Hey, man. First off, I think we need to calm down and pump the brakes on the panic.
Okay. All right.
So I know we didn't go all in on free agency, but one thing about the Shanahans, I know, Kyle especially, is his focus is more on finding guys, whether it's on the coaching staff or players with the right traits, and then developing them and getting them to their max potential. Just look at our coaching staff, for example, how he got Mike McDaniel hired, Robert Saleh, and eventually DeMeco Ryans is going to get hired, as well as Anthony Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the players. Look at all the fifth rounders and undrafted guys that have either been, stars or key contributors. George Kittle, Emmanuel Mosley, Azeez Al-Shaair, just to name a few. So that's what I'm thinking. Even with Trey, they're gonna keep doing the same thing, which is find gems that others may not necessarily want, but have the right traits, coach them up, and then let them go get a bag elsewhere.
I hear you.
And
okay.
My last point before I go is if a Tyreek type package or a Devontae package comes in for Deebo, I would have to consider jumping on it, and then because I got a feeling that Ayuk's going to be the number one receiver with Trey because they seem to work. Trey likes to throw it more deep. Ayuk more of a deep guy, while Deebo more of a yak guy. Like if Pittsburgh calls us up offering their 20th pick along with additional picks, or the Jets call, I got to consider it.
You would trade Deebo and not Kittle.
Yes, that is correct. I would trade Deebo and not Kittle because Kittle has shown his value with both blocking as well as receiving and yards after the catch.
I'm just not going to say anything. Keep going. Keep going. No, I'm not going to say anything. Keep going. I'm listening. I am.
Okay, but yeah.
If you can't say anything nice, hyperventilating over here.
I mean, I like both.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
I like them both. Ideally, I'd like to keep them both.
Okay.
But great receivers are a dime a dozen. Like in this draft, there's about 15 to 20 of them. Tight ends, you don't find that many. You don't find that many elite tight ends like Kittle, Kelsey, a couple others. That's about it. So
yeah,
I think it's more likely. I'm sorry.
No, I feel you. No, I definitely feel you on that.
So that's just my opinion. I know you might clown me, but I just had to get my 2 cents.
No, I feel you, man. Hey, this show is all about expressing your opinion. You want to trade Deebo Samuel. I think that's a pretty popular move, man. Thanks for coming on. Deebo.
Hey, of course. Always a pleasure.
All right, man. See you.
All right.
Next call. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what up? How's your day going so far?
It's just got kicked off to a really good start, man. How about yours?
Trading Deebo, am I right?
Yeah, why not?
Let's go.
Just trade the best player in the league for the 20th pick in the draft. I think that's money, man. That's what you should do. I think that's the way to go.
All right, what's up? So for me as a GM, as a 49ers, I would, before all this Matt Ryan saga happened, I would trade Jimmy for that 3rd round pick because I free up $25 million cap, right?
Yep.
I can use that to get Cordell Patterson maybe.
Yep.
Pair up with Deebo. I mean, you saw what the Niners did in this season where they had Elijah Mitchell and Debo, and one of them go in motion. Why not do it with Cordell Patterson, which also goes into special teams? He can be a kick returner, punt returner. I just like
Cordell Patterson is such a better player than Ray McCloud. Ray McCloud for his career is averaging 6 yards per catch. How do you do that? That's impossible. 6 yards a catch. I thought that was physically impossible, but no, he just proved that you could do it while fumbling a lot of times. It's amazing. I think Cordell Patterson would have been better. But that's just me.
Me too. And
then, I really feel like keeping Jimmy Garoppolo hindered them in free agency, not just because of the money, but because if free agents are like, okay, so who's your quarterback? The Niners are like, that's a personal question, bro. That's a person. That's you play defense, all right? We'll let you know. Like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go sign with the Chargers then. With that face, I'm just saying. What else would you have done?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would trade Jimmy for to the Colts, sign sign Cordell Patterson. And then I would do sign Jarvis Landry still because he's a solid corner. He's an upgrade. I don't know if we have the money to sign Jesse Jackson. I mean, he got a big time deal. I ain't gonna lie, but Jarvis Landry is he's an upgrade then.
Solid.
Let's just say starter like Diamador Lenore and starter over Dante Johnson. But
yeah,
like you said on previous shows, we need a deep threat, and Will Fuller's still out there if possible because I still have that $25 million. But I feel like he's gonna go to the Browns with Watson because the connection. So I'm gonna look into the draft, and I see this guy Tyquan Thornton that ran a 4.28 4-yard dash. He could be a deep threat too.
All right, man. Thanks for the scouting report. I appreciate it. Hey, I like your chair too. We're both so comfortable right now. It seems like. And I like your hat. I gotta go. I gotta take more calls though. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. It's been a while.
All right, Grant.
Peace. Real quick, before I let Karan on, Adrian says, random. Learned Eddie DeBartolo was granted clemency in 2020. Wish he'd take the team back. Could you see that happening? No. Nope. It's Jed's team now. Too late. Sorry. What's up?
That ship sailed a long time ago.
Long time ago. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right.
You all right?
I'm all right. I'm not batting 1,000. I'm batting like 265. But I'm, I'm in a hot streak.
How's on your on base percentage 400? That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's all I got to worry about.
I leaned into a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Yeah. 3 points. One is that, for all the hoopla about free agency, I think there's just 3 players 49er fans need to take a tab of. To me, I think the season will go either up or down based off Banks, Moore, and Kinlaw. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if those 3 players are
You're telling me the season depends on those 3 stiffs? I mean, players, that's rough. Wow.
But the 49ers are telling you that. They're telling you that, right? They're saying that we believe in Javon Kinlaw. We believe in Jalen Moore. We believe in Aaron Banks because they have not addressed any of that stuff. And, here's the thing.
Are they telling you they believe in him? Because they said, 2 months ago, they told us they didn't believe in him.
No,
but what is that?
To Cougar's point, right? Larry Cougar's point. I think the Super Bowl window is closed. They are a perennials playoff team, fringe playoff team. I won't say perennial playoff team. And here's why. Remember
Debo just blocked you on Twitter for that. Wow. Debo, he just blocked you on Twitter for saying that he couldn't take them all the way. Sorry.
Well,
sorry.
Again, just my opinion, because here's the thing. They're doing very much what the Cincinnati Bengals did. We thought that they were going to copy the Rams because they were in the Rams division. No. They're doing what the Cincinnati Bengals did. The Cincinnati Bengals looked at their weaknesses in the upcoming draft, did not address them in free agency last year, or or in the draft. They got a wide receiver who's like the second best wide receiver in the league, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, they did none of that and still got to the Super Bowl. Why? Because they had a stud quarterback, right? And essentially, the 49ers are telling me is that they don't know if they've got a stud quarterback, but they're going to give it a try. And if they get really far, then they're going to go all in next year. You know why? Because that's what Cincinnati's doing. Because Cincinnati's figured out that they got to put pieces around him. They got to make sure that he's protected.
Maybe the Niners would know right now if they had played Trey last year.
But you know what, though? Here's the thing. Cincinnati, ironically, in the same boat because that dude got injured, right? He played like 2 or 3 games the year before, so they had no idea, and he was drafted just as high. I think he was 1 or 2, right, for Cincinnati. So same sort of dynamic.
So the Niners are trying to lose the Super Bowl this year? I feel that. That's a good goal. I like that. So
to me, they're telegraphing that they somewhat believe in Trey. They're just not going to go all in investment-wise until he proves it, which, can you blame them? It's a business.
But hold on. I feel you, but let me come back to my original point. The difference between the Bengals and the Niners is that the Niners know they have Deebo Samuel. The Bengals last year, they just drafted Jamar Chase. They probably felt good about it, but they didn't know that he was the best player in the league, and they needed it. They just signed Lyle Collins. The Bengals just upgraded their offensive line to help Joe Burrow, while the Niners are like, Trey, you haven't earned that kind of investment yet. Why don't you go prove that you can protect yourself, and then we'll get you a left guard and a right tackle.
Again, so there's a paradigm shift, right? And then that brings me to the second point. The 49ers, and hold on one second. Is San Francisco considered a big market? I'm not being an ass. I'm just asking. Comparative to LA, are they smaller?
I would think so. There's a lot of millions of people in the Bay Area. Yes.
Okay. So
even the South is millions of people in the South Bay alone. Yes.
Okay. So to me, they're almost acting like the Oakland A's of baseball.
Yes, they are
calling it right,
pretending like they're a small market team. Like, no,
right? And
you have the Bay Area to yourself.
Correct. They're the LA teams going very much like, I'm a baseball guy, I'm a Yankee guy. Yankees go all in, right? They spend money. They're a big market team. That's what LA's trying to replicate, right? And so for the 49ers are taking a different approach, which is interesting to see if that's going to work long term for them. But that's the thing, it's a long game. They're playing a long game in football, which technically is probably not the best sport.
That's what I'm saying. It seems like the trend in the league right now is to play for now. You play for now. But
I also think that that's probably because of COVID, and there's not a lot of tape on these college guys. It's a crapshoot when you do have tape, and they've played a lot of games. But the last 2 or 3 years, there hasn't been that many games.
But I think what you're seeing is that it's worked for the last 2 Super Bowl winners, and now it's a trend, and every team is doing it.
Well, okay, so statistically, a trend is something that happens more than once or twice, right? So I'm still going to go by the narrative of building your team, having a low-cost quarterback, because statistically, that's how most teams win. And that's what the 49ers are doing. What they're not
Allow me to retort, though. It seems like that's how it used to be, right? You build through the draft. You have a 3-year plan. It's been proven that you can go from worst to first in 1 year in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
It's been proven.
In 2019.
And the big key is the fact that the cap is going up so much and everyone's counting on it. So it's like the cap is less of a factor than it was 10 years ago. It's exploding.
Not if you pay wide receivers $30 million a year. It's going to be the same thing.
That's no problem if you're spending $8 million on your quarterback.
For how long?
That's why the Dolphins are doing it.
Correct.
And why the Chiefs aren't.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. But here's the thing, though. Who has a better chance of winning the Super Bowl, the Chiefs or the Dolphins right now? If you had to put money.
Which is why I'm saying trade Kittle, trade Garoppolo. Let's go all in right now, baby.
Well, and then it brings me to the last point is that at the end of the day, the probability of Trey Lance replicating what Patrick Mahomes did
100%
is slim to none.
Slim to none.
Slim to none, because that would mean that he would take the league by storm, throw 50 touchdowns. I'm just being a realist. You know what I mean? Do I think that they're like the 4th or 5th best team in the NFC? Yes, absolutely. But they also probably have the hardest schedule of those contenders as well, along with the Rams. They're going to eat each other in their division. Then they got to go turn around and play probably now the best division in football, the AFC West. And all those teams, the NFC West and the AFC West, they all play each other. So that's another thing. They may statistically be better with Trey, but they may have a worse record because of the schedule. The schedule matters in football. It's not like other sports.
It's true. Karan, I got to take more calls. It's a long day, but thanks for calling in. It's great to see you. I'll talk to you soon. Man, the disrespect I'm hearing for Jimmy Garoppolo, for Deebo Samuel. The first caller said trade Deebo, not Kittle. And then Karan, whom I love, said that the window is done with Deebo, the best player in the league. The best player in the league, and the window is just closed. It's over. Okay. All right. What's up, Mighty Dog?
Hey, what's going down?
Nice
Hey,
hat.
thank you
like
for
that.
the vent session. Thank you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I agree with pretty much everything you said in your little intro. So that's good. Trade Kittle before he is just done and he has no value. I
know it's tough to do. I'm sure the Chiefs fans are kind of upset right now, but it seems like the Chiefs always know when to get rid of one of their players.
Yeah.
When did they get rid of a player too soon? Tell me.
Yeah, my boss at work is a Chiefs fan, which has been fun the last few years. But I broke the news to him yesterday. I'm like, "Oh yeah, you heard the Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill, right?" He was all, "No fucking way." I'm like,
"That's funny."
Well, that's what happens when you pay your quarterback $50 million a year.
That's true.
That is true. But I guess the main thing that I want to vent about as a 49ers fan is I'm like so tired of like all these little rumors and leaks coming from wherever, like, oh, we were offered 2 second-rounders for Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, and why didn't you take it? Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
So that's obviously a lie, but who's it for? Like, no one in the industry is going to believe that. So is it for us fans? Are they like trying to patronize us so badly?
Well, hold on. Let me. I can answer this. This one came from Mike Florio. I had Rob Stats Guerrero on my show. He used to work for Mike Florio for a long time. They know each other. And what Rob said is he didn't report it. He said he heard that that teams around the league. What do you say? He heard that basically John Lynch was saying that they had that. Didn't mean they had it. But I guess what they were trying to say is like that's how the Niners were leveraging things in negotiations. Like, hey, kind of like bluffing at a poker table, right? We got this offer, you got to beat it. And I think it kind of was like more to embarrass John Lynch than to provide like a glimpse into what the offers really were. I doubt he ever got more than the 3rd round pick as an offer.
So
he was trying to hold out for. He probably said, "I have 2 so someone would offer 1." You're trying to get 1. Yeah. So you can say, I broke even. I traded a 2 for him. I got a 2 for him. And now what I'm afraid is what they're going to do is not cut him ever. Because if they hold on to him throughout the entire year, they get the 3rd round comp pick at the end. And then be like, all right, well, we got a 3rd. If they're not are they going to cut him or would they trade him for less than a 3rd or cut him when they could just get the 3rd round comp pick? They should, but they probably won't. Which is going to create a circus this year. I'm sorry, I'm not letting you talk. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. But yeah, like earlier you're saying it's like, but who even cares like who the starting quarterback is? It's like, well, yeah, everyone says Jimmy just wins, but it's like if you were watching last year, like every single one of those wins is like edge of your seat. Like, so why has it got to be so hard every week?
Yeah.
And you watch a game, it's like, okay, Jimmy threw a pick or 2 every game and didn't really do anything to help. It was all just like, all 49ers fans, it's all yak,
Yeah.
Short passes, yards after catch. And I love Deebo Samuel. I don't think we should trade him right now. Like you said, he might be the best player in the league. But it's like, if you keep using him like that, he's going to get injured. And then what good is he going to do? He's going to be especially after they extend him, he's going to be the highest paid, maybe, or up there with the wide receivers. And
also, real quick, he's a running back now. Okay.
Oh, he's a running back
now. Well, and the shelf life for running backs, he is. He does both, but he is very much a running back right now.
Yeah.
Like Roger Craig in 1984 when the Niners won the Super Bowl, he had 150 catches and 150 carries and 71 catches. So Deebo could have those numbers this year. And the shelf life for a running back in the NFL these days, 2.5 years. So you just used 1. You might have a year and a half left. Like, don't wait around. Yeah. It's so arrogant to think, Deebo will be the same player in 3 years or 2 years. What? I don't know about that. Do it now. Look what happened. Look what happened to Kittle after he got the extension. That could happen to Debo.
Mm-hmm.
He might not even. I mean, next year could be. I'm just saying, man. Have some freaking urgency. I love you, dude. Good to see you. You got anything you want to say before I go to the next call?
No, I'm good, man.
All right.
Thanks for all the good content, and
For sure.
take it easy.
I'm just looking at people's chairs today. You got a nice chair too. I'm in the chair club.
I got an ergonomic mesh chair. It's nice.
Yeah, chair club.
Right
nice,
on.
man. Peace. EJ408 says, hopefully the Niners get rid of Jimmy ASAP, then announce they're signing Wagner and Matthew and trading Greenlaw for a second. They are so desperate for. I like that. I don't think Greenlaw's worth a second, though. But those are two players the Niners could still get. That's true. Benedict, what's up, man? Germany's finest.
You remember me. All right.
Of course.
Brent, I have a trade proposal for Jimmy.
Okay.
I think you heard that Peter King had or offered or said on Colin Cowherd's show, I think it was, that Jimmy should be traded for Sam Darnold straight up. I don't like this idea, but if we add another player from the Panthers, I think it could be worth it. And the player I want, or a lot of people want, is Brian Burns.
Right. He's great. Yes.
Yeah. Because I think the Panthers won't trade for Jimmy as long as they have Sam Darnold on the roster. They are owing them $18 million, I think, for the fifth-year option.
Okay.
And who trades for Sam Darnold? Nobody.
Right.
You have if you want to unload Jimmy from our contract to the Panthers, you have to. I think you have to take Sam Darnold. But that you do it, I think it would be wise to add Brian Burns. I don't know if we need to add another pick, for example, a third-round pick, and get a fourth or fifth also back. I don't know what it would be worth, but
Benedict, right off the bat, where I start to feel a little skeptical of this is that the Panthers would trade Brian Burns for Jimmy Garoppolo. Why would they do that?
Yes,
Brian Burns is good
because they get a starting quarterback. Their coach is in most likely his final year of the contract. He will get fired. He needs to win. You saw last year that you can't win with Sam Darnold. You could think you can win with Jimmy. And they would also have more cap space than the Niners would. The Niners wouldn't have, with this deal, a lot of cap space. I know that. You trade 27 million for 18 million. You have a little bit of free room. But you get a player, Brian Burns, who is, or you can't get a player at this stage in free agency, and also not in the draft, and with the position of their picks. So I think he is the best player you could get, right? Realistically, what would you do with the money from for the 27 million from Jimmy? Who do we sign now?
You wouldn't create 20. You would get 25 million in cap space, but then you're bringing Sam Darnold back, right? And that takes up 19.
Yeah, if you would leave out Sam Darnold, you would have 27 million in cap space, right? Who is on the market right now? You can add. You can add older players like a Matthew, like a Bobby Wagner. They're good players, but they are older. And with this, you would get a piece. I think he is in his third year of the
Brian
contract.
Burns is really good. He was same draft as Bosa.
Yeah, and so you could maybe extend Bosa this year. You have either a good young defensive end you could also trade in the next years, or you have a pair of young defensive ends with Bosa and Burns, and build
Sounds
from
great.
there.
Yeah, if the Panthers want to trade Brian Burns for Jimmy Garoppolo, be my guest. It seems to me that Brian Burns should be worth a first-round pick and that Jimmy Garoppolo should be worth a third at best. So if the Niners can do that, great. I like it. Money. I got to take more calls, though, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Have a nice day.
All right, you too. Jay, thanks for becoming a member. And I wanted to say, Barry a Baller gave me a great idea. He wanted me to do like a members only video, like a video for everyone, but the only people who can chat are the members, to give like some members some love and like a Q&A session. So I might try that tomorrow as opposed to a Cohn phone. I'm doing a Cohn phone now, maybe a Q&A video tomorrow for the members, the Cohn heads. It's a good idea. I don't know. I've been invited to do super follows or whatever on Twitter, and it's just another way for me to take your money. I feel a little guilty about it, but not that bad. So if you guys want to give me ideas of how I can take your money on Twitter, let me know. I'm open to it, although I do feel a little guilty. So maybe figure out a way where it's like not just straight up stealing and I actually contribute something to your life. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel bad that way. Isaiah Gill, the streak continues. He's the Cal Ripken of Trey area posters. Jay says, your thoughts. What is the signal they're sending Trey by keeping Jimmy? Not a signal of confidence, even if they try to say privately, hey, we really like you. We really think you're great. Just don't tell anyone that we like you and that you're the starter because we trying to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. But you know what I mean? It's like having a girlfriend and being like, don't tell anyone we're dating, okay? Yeah, we're exclusive, but you can't tell anyone at school. And if you tell one person, it's over. It's like, oh, that's a romantic. I like that. That's romantic. That's fun. We can't sit together at lunch. Don't you dare look at me between classes. We will talk. I will hit you up at 10:30 tonight. All right? You better answer the phone. Just saying. That's kind of what like their relationship is with Trey Lance right now. How about Jimmy and Kittle for Brian Burns? Man, I don't think Carolina can take on that much money. That's hella money. Hella money. Jay, what's up? Oh, he's gone. No, he's back. What's up, Jay?
Well, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Shoot, I was about to. I forgot what I was gonna say now. No.
All right, second think that's cool.
Oh, did you see that Trent Williams interview?
No. Tell me what happened. Nope. What happened?
Oh man, he said he wants to play for a contender. You think he knows something about the quarterbacks that he doesn't want to? And then they brought up the Bengals. How do you think he'd be on the Bengals because they're looking for a left tackle? And he was like, I'm under contract. I can't say nothing. But it was like, shouldn't you be like, no, I'm a Niner forever. This is my team. Like
Trey Lance is the bomb.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the Niners made – when did they extend Trent Williams? Hold on. 49ers. I want to check it out. Extend Trent Williams. When did this happen? March 17th. Okay. March 17th, 2021, they extend Trent Williams. What do they do 9 days later? 9 days later.
Trade up. Was it the trade up?
Yes, that's right. That's right. So if you remember, the Niners re-signed all these vets last year under the assumption that they were going to make one more run for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Then after all these vets commit, they trade up for Lance. Don't you think that was a little confusing? They're like, whoa. What? You didn't tell us you're going to do that when you signed me. They probably thought they were going to spend that pick on someone like Michael Parsons, whether that's right or wrong. But that's what happened. They signed all these guys and then pulled the rug out from under them 9 days later and brought in the future and let them know, oh, you thought we were contenders? You thought we were going for the Super Bowl this year? Actually, we're actually looking at 2023. 2023 is going to be our freaking year. It's going to be so good. In Napa, in Santa Clara, it's going to be the vintage for us, 2023. And Trent Williams like, man, I'm going to be 35. I don't know how old he's going to be in 2020, but I'm just like, what? That's what happened.
Yeah. Yep. And then what else was it? It was a Jimmy thing. Yeah, I forgot. I was going to go do something.
Hey, man, that was a good call. That was a good call, though. I think we had a good conversation.
It. Thank you.
All right, man. Call anytime. Peace. ZPN, what's up? You there? What's up, man? How you doing?
Sir, what's up, Grant?
Are you in bed?
Yes, I'm in bed.
Are you wearing clothes? I'm a little creeped out.
I have my hoodie on today.
All right, you good?
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. This is a little too comfortable for you, but I think we're okay. I think we'll let it go. I'm going to allow it.
Okay, so literally right now, as soon as you said ZP Nathan, I was going to check Jarvis Landry's salary from last year because I was going to ask you, what are the chances that we sign Jarvis Landry? Everything is going slow. It's been a couple of days already, and no one has picked him up. So maybe he'll come for a little bit of a discount. I mean, there are teams that need receivers. So, I mean, I read that he was close to going with Deshaun Watson if he were to end up on the Falcons.
Can I say something real quick about Jarvis Landry?
Good.
Hell no, man. No.
Come on.
Can we get a wide receiver who can freaking run? What happened to the speed in this offense?
But I mean, like,
That's
he has
just-
for sure hands. He has
They got
hands.
Jennings. They got Ayuk. Could we get someone who could run? They used to like people who could run, man. I don't get it. What happened to that? Where's the speed?
Hey, but Kyle will know what to do with them.
Yeah,
I think.
I would have rather signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but he's gone.
Well, what are the chances that we get Odell? Maybe he doesn't go back to the Rams with them getting.
Can he still run? He's torn his ACL like 7 times. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, it's okay. It's understandable.
Yeah. No, it's a good idea though. I think isn't Jarvis Landry working out with Debo this offseason?
Yeah, in Miami, right?
So it's probably is he the new Mohamed Sanu? Mohamed Sanu was like so thirsty to come on this team. He was like, let me play. They're like,
hey, Dante Johnson's back.
Yep. What about Sanu though? He was excited. They hyped him up so much last year. He just gets one injury. Anyway.
What do you think? What do you think is more likely? We get Jarvis Landry or we sign Jordan Matthews?
Jordan Matthews, of course. I mean, where's the cap space? I don't see them signing any more people, really. I don't see them signing any more starters. I don't think they have the cap space to sign any more starters. If they weren't willing to give up like a little bit of money for K'Wan Williams, I mean, I think they're out of the market for most guys who aren't trying to get more than the vet minimum right now. They'll take Jaquiski Tartt if he's down to play for $800,000, but that's probably it. They just signed. They're at the Kerry Hyder level right now.
Hey, they got him for $1 million though. They know how to use him. Seattle kind of. They know how to use him, so he's coming back. I mean, he's a good player for a cheap deal.
He certainly is. That's where the Niners are at, the good players and the cheap deals. Hey, man, go start your day. Get out of bed. Okay. The world is your oyster. It's Friday.
All right, then.
You don't have no job. You got nothing to do.
Right, what is this guy saying? All right.
Peace. Stay at home, Dad. What's up?
Yo, what's going on, my man?
How you doing?
Good. I got a couple of quick points I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
So the first one, do you think I was watching your show last year.
Uh-huh.
This is a long time ago, so I hope you remember this. I think it was the 49ers roundtable.
Okay.
They had just given Kyle Juszczyk his contract.
Wow.
And they were talking about drafting Trey Lance. And you guys were talking about, well, why the heck are they paying Kyle Juszczyk this money? They don't need that fullback anymore when they get a mobile quarterback in there. Do you still feel that way?
Well, I mean, usually when you have a mobile quarterback, you like to spread things out, play 3 wide receivers. And the thing with Juszczyk, they don't use him when Jimmy's on the field. Now, Jimmy did miss him in Tennessee deep, but like I've never really – they call him an offensive weapon, but like he's a blocker in their offense.
He is a blocker, but I think he's a completely underutilized pass catcher.
Me too.
You've seen the catches that he can make.
He's good.
But that's not why I think they should use him more. Once they get Lance in there full time, I think that him, Lance, and Deebo Samuel should be the most devastating third down triple option run in the NFL.
Yeah.
Anything under 7 yards. They shouldn't even be thinking about passing it. Put both those guys in the backfield, triple option run every time.
That works. They also had a lot of success with 2 tailbacks in the, Jeff Wilson and Deebo Samuel. That could work too.
And then the last one is now that what's his name, McDaniels is gone, is the running game going to change significantly? You think it's more Kyle than McDaniel that's making these kind of play designs? And do you think Anthony Lynn's going to come in and change things at all?
I would think so. I think you can't replace Mike McDaniel. I think he's kind of like keeps you one step ahead schematically, and maybe the Niners won't be that this year. The new innovations will come from Lynn, not McDaniel, so it should be different. I don't know what it's going to look like, though.
Well, I'm excited, though. So they got all 3 of the running backs back already. Hasty and Elijah's coming back, obviously, and Wilson Jr. is going to be back. So at least I got some consistency for once.
Absolutely. Your son is really excited about the 49ers this year.
Yeah.
He's like, where? Jimmy is still on the team? That's what he's saying. I heard him say it.
Yeah. I got crying babies here. Stay at home dad life.
All right, man. It's John Lynch's fault that they're crying. They're crying because I'm telling you.
It's true. I put on my John Lynch mask whenever they're upset, just so they know who to be mad at.
Good to see you, man. Later.
Thank you.
Man, those kids were pissed. They know. You can't fool a baby. They're like, oh, we couldn't spend the cap space this year. Baloney. Been on this. I wasn't born yesterday, okay? Been around a couple of times. What's up, man?
It's good to see you, Grant, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I bounced back from COVID a few weeks ago, so I'm doing a lot better.
Oh, you got it? I had it.
Yeah. No, and what's funny is, Grant, because we had that call like a few weeks ago, and literally I
Yeah.
think 3 days later I tested positive, man. And then I'm supposed to be at spring practice, and then my spring break started, and just
Sorry
the whole
about that.
thing. No,
Sorry.
no, you know what? I'm cool now, man. I'm good. I'm ready to get back to work. I'm going back to spring practices. We got a pro day next week. I'll give us, any 49ers notes we need over there in Tallahassee.
Nice.
But I wanted to talk about what you've been talking about with this one specific thing, the 2023 specifically, right? You
Yeah.
keep talking about how they're going to be planning to maximize and take full advantage and potentially go all
Next year.
in 2023.
Yeah.
Hey, Grant, the one problem with that, the cap is exploding, right?
So every team will. Every freaking team is thinking the same thing. You could be like the only team with cap space right now, but you're like,
Yep.
nah, let's be one of 32 teams with cap space next year. That's our moment.
And that's really the biggest issue I have is they're like financial planners, right? They have planned this horribly financially. They are not taking advantage of the situations they should. And the whole point of drafting Trey Lance when you do and trading for him almost a year ago today is that you're supposed to take advantage of the rookie contract. So first of all,
immediately look at Miami.
Look at Kansas City a few years ago, Grant. They saw one game of Patrick Mahomes and went all in. They were like, no reservations. We're going to sign Sammy Watkins. We're going to put everything we can into maximizing this kid's potential. And they won the Super Bowl.
Who isn't even good, and they're doing that in Miami as they should.
Yes.
It's not like they're like, you know what? We don't really trust Tua, so let's bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, hedge our bets, spend a ton of money at quarterback. Like, no, that's not how you do it. Are you kidding? No.
It's not. Well, and beyond just that, like, Grant, right now they have the second highest paid quarterback room in the NFL. That's
crazy. It's crazy.
It's insane.
My sense is yes.
And I just like in the past 10 seasons, and like I love bringing this up, right? In the past 10 seasons, the only quarterbacks to win the Super Bowl are Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Nick Foles, and guys on a rookie deal. 49ers don't have any of that. They are not putting themselves in a position to win a Super Bowl, let alone I don't think a quarterback has won a Super Bowl being a top 5 paid quarterback in like at least the last 10 years since the 2011 rookie wage scale. And Jimmy is like the 5th highest paid quarterback. And Grant, I went back and looked at the years that they had Jimmy signed for on his new deal. The first year of his deal, he was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. In 2019, guess what? He was 15th. Wonder why they went to the Super Bowl.
It was 8%. It was totally reasonable.
But it was like 15th in terms of quarterbacks in the NFL. The next 2 years after, he's top 5, Grant. So I just don't know how they can reasonably think they're building, like they're preventing themselves from building the best contender they can. And it's their own wrongdoing and it's their own pitfalls at this point. It's not like anything else. It's not like anything is out of their control. They could have just cut Jimmy. They could have traded him last offseason, and they should have traded him last offseason. And the real reason why it's bugging me now is because, for one, they could have had more cap space, right? But now, like you've mentioned a couple of times, there are a ton of people who will tell you that they don't think Trey Lance is ready, that they don't believe in him, that they're not all in on him. Hey, maybe they still think they can win with Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, if you had played Trey Lance all of last season, you could go all in now because you would have a larger sample size to work off. True. So they're creating their own problems for themselves.
Yes, but what I want to say is, like, they've made all these bad decisions, and yet they were in the NFC Championship game last year, despite their bad decisions, despite their complete and utter inability to decide who their quarterback is. Deebo Samuel was like, I don't care. I'm going to put this team on my back. You don't know who the quarterback is? It doesn't matter. Just give me the damn ball. Oh, you can't get it to me on a screen? I'll play running back. And you have this guy who is like the LeBron James or the Stephen Curry of non-quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, this is a guy who could just routinely score touchdowns from 25 yards out, and the Niners are like, not this year. Not our time. Like,
nah, we'll go all in the future.
By the time you finally decide it's time to go in, what is Deebo going to be, man? What is Kittle going to be?
Exactly.
What is Kittle going to be? It's like the time is freaking now.
Yes.
And they're thinking like, nah, our window starts when Trey Lance is ready. No. Your window starts. It's quarterback independent. It doesn't matter about the quarterback. You almost got to the Super Bowl with freaking Jimmy twice.
Yeah. And Grant, last year, to be fair, man, they were as healthy as they've ever been in the last 3 years. and they were 1 game away from missing the playoffs. So it's not like they guaranteed themselves that much closer. And then, man, the thing with, okay, I want to go back to you trading Kittle for a second. I actually don't disagree with you as much as I did maybe a few weeks ago. The reason I'll say they shouldn't do it, though, is because we know the 49ers, Grant. What are they going to do if they actually trade George Kittle? What are they going to make of it? They're not going to go all in. We already know that's what they do, right?
Or if they get the first and the second round pick, I mean, they'll spend one of it on the next Aaron Banks and one of it. I mean, they're not that great at drafting. So that's a fair – it seems like the Chiefs just are a better organization overall. That's why they have rings, and the Niners are still searching for that ring.
Yeah, I mean –
if I were Eddie DeBartolo, anytime I saw Jed, I would just have the ring on. Like, what's up, man? How you doing? Hey, what's up? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, just get the hand
right here.
Get the hand
right
out.
Here. What's up? How you been, man? It's good to see you. Oh, you don't got this yet, but you got the stadium. But you don't got this. But you got that stadium.
But Grant, they do
stadium.
have those 2 NFC Championship participation trophies, which they seem really happy with. I mean, really, they seem just thrilled with it.
Man, look, Jed York had a lot of aspirations during the Harbaugh years, right? Harbaugh wasn't good enough for me, and then he freaking embarrassed himself by having to fire 3 coaches in 3 years, and now he's just happy that Levi's is full. He's happy that no one's calling him stupid, and that they have credibility. But like that's all, and that's why they're clinging to Jimmy Garoppolo. Right. Jimmy Garoppolo gives them credibility. They can fill the stadium. They can win more than they lose. But it's not.
And Trey Lance is the unknown, right?
Yeah.
Right. Trey Lance is the unknown, and they haven't found out the unknown yet. But the problem with that, Grant, is they've gone all in on the unknown. So when you go all in, and then you just
follow through.
Yeah, you gotta
follow through.
Grant, you have to
like
have
one step. It's like you ever see that I forget which one. I think it was the 3rd Indiana Jones where they have to take the leap of faith across the thing.
Yes,
they put 1 foot on. With the unfoot, it's like you gotta go. You gotta take the whole leap of faith, and they won't do it.
It's like in one hand, in one hand they got Jimmy Garoppolo, in one hand they got Trey Lance. They're like, hey, what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do? And again, that's what financial analysts do. Let's hedge our bets. Have something for the present, something for the future in case this. They're like the Niners are a mutual fund. They're a stock portfolio. They got all kind of stuff and going in all different directions. They need to pick a. They need to pick a direction.
They need to have conviction in their decision making, and that's the biggest issue I've always had, Grant. And the thing I'll end on this with Trey, man, is it's a ticking clock with him. The problem with their line of thinking that some people have, that I've heard 49ers fans point out, I've heard you like very important, like, and you need to do this. You need to dispel this rumor. Trying to build for the next 5 years is not the way to win. Trying to go all in is the way to win. Look what every other team in the NFL is doing who have quarterbacks on rookie deals. They are going all in and taking the most advantage of the rookie contract. The 49ers, not only are they not taking advantage of the rookie contract, but they have a quarterback on a rookie deal who they spent 3 first-round picks on, and they have a quarterback who's like top 8 in terms of highest paid.
Show me another team in the league that would do that.
No. Well, and Grant, I'll go back to my first Cohn phone from forever ago, like I think 14 months ago now, like last January. I think I went on here and was talking about the Bucs Super Bowl, talking about how much Tom Brady saves money, how much he sacrifices. The 49ers, like you said, they're not willing to take that leap of faith. They're okay with being consistent. Jed is happy with filling up Levi's, and man, it just ain't good enough. They tried to go all in with Trey Lance and then didn't commit to it and didn't follow through.
That's why we got to keep the pressure on. Good stuff, man. Thanks for calling in. Good to see you always. All right, peace. Rick Rude, you're next. Real quick. Sean says, man, Grant, it would be so much easier to understand what you were saying if I didn't feel you'd troll them no matter what the decision. I praise the Niners all the time. Literally. I do. I like when they drafted Trey Lance. I felt they made the right quarterback decision with that one. I think Travarius Ward's a good signing, even though I think they could have signed someone better. But I'm not like I'm not this guy who says everything they do is right. I just try to be honest with how I feel that time. Anyway, what's up, Rick?
What's going on, Grant?
How you doing, man?
Good, man. You know what my biggest vent I have right now is the realization that we have to keep Jimmy until he's physically physically okay and can pass a physical right now. That's the biggest thing, because it's like, okay, we can easily cut him, but do I want to pay him $7.5 or $7 million or whatever the case may be, or bet on another team, picking him up and paying him more when we'll get that cap fix back next year? No. So I'm frustrated. Like, I see what we should be doing, but we can't right now. And so it's like we're in a holding pattern. And so it's like wait until Jimmy is healthy, then release him, and then we can kind of do whatever with the cap space. I'm with you. We should have got rid of Jimmy last year. That's how I feel. We should have got rid of Jimmy last year. Kind of put some pieces around Jimmy last year. Used the salary. On Trey, and use the salary. To kind of build up for now. So now we're basically this is kind of like a trial period year coming up to see what we're going to do for next year, which I think we should have did last year. So that's why I'm so frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I was campaigning for that all last year. People were saying he wasn't ready. The Niners would be in a much better position right now if Trey Lance had started 8 games.
Exactly.
17. Yeah.
That and the thing about it is you would kind of know what things he does well, what things he needs to work on. And then we can kind of work on things for his skill set, because I believe that Ayuk will probably be the biggest beneficiary of this year coming up, because Trey Lance typically looks to go down the field a lot more. So you probably won't see as many checkdowns as you would with Jimmy or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, Trey's going to have to work with with Kittle as well as Debo, because they used to lose 5-yard slants or whatever, and maybe with them working together, he'll let them know, hey guys, I'm not looking to do for you all to run 2-yard routes. I'm looking for you all to run deeper routes, which will in turn help our running game out. So therefore, they'll be afraid to just stack the box on us like they were previously.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. I think Trey Lance is going to have not a domino effect, but a butterfly effect on the whole offense. It's going to make everyone better. It's going to create space for everyone.
Yeah, and I think, and I talked to Jesse. I said one thing I want to see with Trey that I did not see with Jimmy. I want him to identify weak spots. So, like if the third string cornerback is on Ayuk and Ayuk is cooking him, I want him to go to him the whole time because we literally lost games. When we lost the Tennessee game, they kept going to AJ Brown, and it was like we never adjusted to it, but they identified a weakness and just kept going to him. And the same thing like with Devontae Adams in the last drive before they kicked the field goal to win the game. We have to identify whatever person is that we think is a weak spot and then continue to go to him, because I understand Kyle has a play call, but doesn't the headset go off at a certain time frame where you're like, okay, I hear you, 15 seconds left, Brandon Ayuk, Debo, I'm going to you. I don't care what Kyle's saying right now. I'm going to go with you. Let me take the heat from it, whatever, on the sideline, film room, whatever. But if you come back to me and you say, hey, guy, I've got this guy, I'm cooking him, then let's go to that.
I like that. I like that a lot. Hopefully the Niners can become that kind of an offense.
Yeah, because I want us to get back to the point where we're dominant and not, I'm tired of the whole suspenseful games, games where we should be winning easily, then Jimmy does something stupid, and now we're on the edge of our seats, and we're like, oh no, come on defense, I need you to hold one more time, and stuff like that. And because if our defense can have, we can control time possession because we're running the ball more, we're scoring more points, and now teams have to pass a lot. Guess what? Bosa, Armstead, Ebukam, whoever else, Kinlaw, they'll all be able to feast because they're just pinning their ears back because they know the quarterback has to throw the ball.
Yeah. So
it'll be a great domino effect. I expect our running game to get better this year. Especially, I want to use Juice more, not only just as a blocker, but the little wheel routes and things like that. I want Kittle to be able to be used more as a tight end, kind of like with Kelsey or even Darren Waller, because he has that capability. But I think a lot of times we're so run dependent because we didn't really trust Jimmy to throw the ball a lot. We were like second to last in pass attempts in the entire league.
I hear you, man. I got to take more calls though. Thanks very much for laying out how the offense is going to improve. I agree with you.
Absolutely, sir, man. Keep doing it. Like and subscribe, everybody.
Thank you, Rick Rude. Take care. Drunk Leprechaun says, "Hey Grant, I'm tired of people writing in saying you're so negative about the Niners. You just give your honest assessment. You're great. Keep it up." Well, I got the drunk leprechauns on my side, so that's great, man. It's 11 in the morning on a Friday though, but you know, you might be in Ireland, where it's later, so that's cool. You know, you might be having a good time. Drunk leprechaun. RDB Nick, you already know you're next. You ready? What's up, dude?
Grant, what is good?
Dude, I'm chilling, man. How are you?
What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, we're on here. Like, we got a vent. Like, what's going on? What are we doing? What's the game plan? Like, I don't know.
You tell me, Nick.
I brought some souvenirs.
I'm flabbergasted.
I brought like Niner fans. You know, we want this. We have this. The number 5. We want this. We want this on the field. This, we do not want this. We need to trade this now. I mean, the jawline is still there, but the arm is gone. The shoulder's broken. He can't throw. He can't even throw.
He can't even lift his arm, bro.
Is anybody
to his side?
Who wants to trade for this? Detroit, please? Anybody? Like,
is he holding the ball in his left hand? Why?
Right, he's got the helmet off. Look at him trying to flex on us with the jawline, the $3,000 smile over here. Jimmy Garoppolo looking GQ. I don't know, man. I'm trying to trade this bobblehead now. Does anybody in the
chat? You think you're not going to miss the Jimmy Garoppolo experience? You're not going to miss the post-game press conferences?
The poking. I look at this every time. We just need to do better. You threw it to the freaking linebacker for the 3rd time. He's standing there, Bobby Wagner looking. He's going. He's like, oh, hey, Seahawks defense, let's play I Spy. I Spy with my little eye. Oh, the football. Let's go. Run to the end zone. Oh, touchdown. Oh, Seahawks win. Every time. It's upsetting to me. It's just, what are we doing? Like, what's the game plan? Like, we need to go. It's time to go. Hey ho, Jimmy Garoppolo. We had fun, but it's time to go. Like, adios. Like, you know, Detroit.
I think they're going to run it back. He was an integral part of their run down the stretch. He was an integral part. The way he would make games interesting by throwing the interception late while forcing the ball to Kittle in the red zone. I mean, you can't put a price on that, Nick.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying, because I know Kyler Murray did that, like, spin around back, like, interceptions to the Rams, and Jimmy had to, like, replicate that at the end. But,
yeah,
you know,
just to show they had the same skill set.
I like that as a send-off, though. Like, we should, like, call up all the players. We should get, like, you know, get a party bus, you know, like, call up Matt Mayoka, whoever, like, get a party bus, and, like, we go, like, hey, Jimmy, like, we had fun, but now it's time to go, you know. We get a whole watch party. You can stream it on your YouTube, get views, like, you know, like, it's, you know, a little send-off party, you know. And then we bring in Lance. We bring in the big guns.
The big guns. Now. I've heard Nick on Spaces before. You're hilarious. I'm glad you called in, man. Thank you. I mean, you're 100% serious, but I appreciate you calling in. Hope you call in again.
I just have one thing too. I have a little solution on how we could fix the O-line problem.
Tell me.
So, like, the Niners are bad at drafting offensive linemen, right?
True.
They're looking in the wrong country, America. We need to go to Japan. Japan has sumo wrestling. We get a bunch of them 500-pound dudes, you know, throw them like a little $3-4 million a year, bring them all over. You know, let's say like it's 3rd and 10. We need to pass the ball. Trey Lance signals Shanahan. Bring out the unit. We bring out 500-pound dudes. Bro. What, you think Chandler Jones can buy that? No. You think Aaron Donald's can buy that? No. Come on. Bro. We got this now. That's the plan. Japan.
I like that.
We build the Great Wall of Japan. Come on.
I like that. Yeah. Come on.
Grant, we bring the energy. We got to do a show against someone, man. Let's go.
Like, you better call in again, son.
I got you, my guy.
Appreciate you. Peace. He just took it up to a whole different level. I've heard that fool before. He's really good. Damn, that fool's hella good. It's a little too good, actually. He can't be on my show ever again. He was too good. It's over. Sorry, dude. I don't even know who that was. Not even plugging his name. His name might have been Jerry. I don't know. He's too talented. What's up, Kanil? How you doing?
What's good? Oh man, it's good to see you, Grant. Man, that last caller was great. That was amazing. I love the sumo wrestler idea.
That fool. Way too talented. What's up?
I wanted to just, take a moment to just give a round of applause to Don Yee and Jimmy for
golf clap
type of deal. They played this beautifully, didn't they? They have kind of figured this out where they could just, how do we screw over the Niners? the most in this situation. Let's delay the surgery to a week before free agency. So there's no way that they can trade him. Even if they had some 3rd-round pick, it's gone now. There's nothing out there available. And now they can't cut me because I'm hurt. They can't cut me, so they got to keep me for a while. And either they're going to pay me my $27 million, or they cut me and I get to go
and give me a $7.5 million parting present. Thank you for your service. Here's $8 million. Yeah,
It's just like, I wonder how that conversation, I wonder whose idea was it? Was it Don's, you think, or was it Jimmy? Was it Jimmy that was like, screw the Niners, let's do this? Or was it Don Yee that was like, I have a plan.
Don was like, you know what? I have a plan. He said the whole thing, and Jimmy was like, I know Kung Fu. Whoa. He was like Keanu Reeves. Whoa. That's pretty good.
It's
honestly, he's Keanu Reeves in Point Break.
People really I've been having arguments with people on Twitter because they're like, Jimmy wouldn't do that. He's the consummate professional. He wanted to just play through the injuries, and he was just trying to be the best guy that he could for the team. And I'm like,
no, that's just the image. That's just the image, a professional image. But he hired Don Yee to do what Don Yee just did. And I'm sure Don Yee came to him with the idea, and Jimmy was like, that's why I pay you. That's why I pay you what I pay you.
Exactly.
He was
right.
Like, oh, yeah. Sorry.
But my question was this: is that a lot of people have been telling me that Jimmy played through the injuries for the good of the team.
Yeah.
It was the team that he would have sat out if he could have. But I think going back to the Martellus Bennett situation, going back to the 2020 when he didn't come back after the injury before, that that he's kind of soft. That he would come back from the injuries and things like that.
Martellus Bennett didn't say soft either. He didn't say that.
Couple worse
things. A different word that we're not going to use.
Exactly. And
out of courtesy to Sports Illustrated. I'm not going to say what Martellus Bennett said, but you can look it up.
Exactly. And he saw Lance against Houston. He didn't want if he didn't come back, if he had said, I'm going to shut it down, I don't think that would have been a good look for him. So I think everyone's saying he came back for the team and he battled through these injuries for the team. No, he battled through
for himself.
For him.
For himself. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean,
he knew his time was cut short with the Niners when they brought in Trey Lance. You gotta be a survivalist to a certain degree. But yeah, like this whole fantasy fairy tale that Jimmy is just the most selfless team player of all time. Like, no, he's a human being like everyone else. Sorry.
Yeah, like I respect it. Now, our front office, we screwed it over because we should have traded him last year.
Yeah,
or cut him earlier in the year. We bought into it. We fell for it. But man, just it's a mass performance from Jimmy G and Don Yee this offseason on how to just ensure that the Niners were screwed for screwing him over, for taking a quarterback to replace him. So he gets his money and they don't get anything, and he'll get a year to he'll get paid $27 million or $7.5 million to rehab. And then he gets to pick wherever he wants to go.
Yeah. Don Yee, he outdid himself this offseason.
I'm impressed. I want my age.
I'm impressed. Could you represent me, please? I am. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. But yeah.
It's like if you ever had a grievance against your employer, Don Yee will help you get revenge and then some.
Man.
What they do to you, we got you. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. All right, Neil. Good to see you.
See you, man.
Everyone's got the Trey Lance jerseys today, man. I love that. Solidarity. Joe, you ready? Big Joey. What's up?
Dude, the last two people cracked me up so bad, bro. I was sitting there, oh my gosh. And then they'll be like, yeah, but Jimmy's a class act. Yeah, he's a class act. But then Jimmy's over there like, all right, cool. What's the best way to fuck over the Niners?
I didn't see that coming. Wow.
Let's have the surgery a week before free agency. How about that?
Again, hold on. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo has it in him to come up with that plan. That is a Don Yee plan. I've covered Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm sorry. No, that is Don Yee, not Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy said, thank you.
But then you also got to realize Jimmy will be sitting there in the press conference. He'll be sitting there. Why'd you throw okay, so your third interception, why'd you throw it directly into Bobby Wagner's chest? He would be like, yeah, we need to stop throwing interceptions directly to the defense with a fucking smile like he just won the Super Bowl.
He'd be like, Brandon, you should have ran a better route.
Yeah.
Why'd you throw that interception? Well, it's Brandon Ayuk should have ran harder. Brandon Ayuk looked at me funny. Brandon Ayuk hurt my feelings in the
while having the biggest smile, like he just won the Super Bowl, bro. Too, like
yeah,
he's like
like a picture with like his 36 person entourage afterwards, like he did something.
Yeah, like
living the dream. Can this be real life?
You know what I think the problem is? I think he just doesn't have the word "I" in his vocabulary. I think it's just like, oh, hold on, we need to go to the doctor's appointment at 12:30 right now.
He learned that in New England, and he's just been sticking with that for the last 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never talk about you. You never take credit. You never place blame. It's always the team. He's like, got it, coach. Like,
Got it, coach.
Got it, coach.
Yeah. It's like,
or
man.
And he just says, he's just saying we all the time.
You know what I think this situation would be looked at a lot differently though. If like just imagine if like the XFL was like a G League.
Yes.
And like Trey could play. I think it would be totally different right now.
It's crazy. Like in the MLB, these teams they'll draft a pitcher and he's really good. They don't just throw him into the NFL or just have him sit for 2 years. You play. You go in the minor leagues and you develop. And the NFL is like, look, man, the best way for you to develop in this league is to not play. It's like,
yeah.
What?
And like every other league too. Every other league.
Literally a 7-on-7 league. It just some type of playing would probably be better than not playing. But the NFL is like, no. We don't have to do that crap. Like, we print money. We don't want to spend money. We don't want to invest. Like, who cares?
Yeah. And then it'll be good for the NFL too. And they're just like, oh, okay, I guess so.
It'd be so much better. Like, I don't have NFL Network. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I don't have NFL Network. It's boring as hell. If they had like spring football, I would get NFL Network. Now, what do you want? You watch Good Morning Football? I'm not going to waste time watching good football. Sorry, people who are on that show. I'm not going to watch Good Morning Football.
100%.
Football, not like if my talk show is better than their talk show.
Yeah, you got to see all the hyped people too. Like, oh yeah, look at the like. Imagine if Packers fans were able to see Jordan Love, how they would feel.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, draw up a play for us right now on the whiteboard.
Let's see here. Let's go.
Joey, I gotta go. Thanks for calling in, man.
All right.
Peace. That guy was dope too. The energy of this show's really picked up. Ken says we can make up for free agency. Isaiah Likely tight end, Tyquan Thornton wide receiver, and Jarian Ely running back. All deep threats and all speeders need to watch film. Thank you for giving me some names. I will watch those guys. Isaiah Likely, Tyquan Thornton, Jarian Ely. Thank you very much. I got a month to do my homework. I'm definitely procrastinating. Chris, what's up?
What's up, Grant?
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. How's everything going?
I can't complain. I cannot complain. I'm sneaking by.
Yeah, Hyphy Grant's been in the building these past couple of days, man. When
all of a sudden, Niner fans are like upset, and I'm like, yeah, come to the dark side. Let's see things eye to eye. Yes.
Man, let me. If you are still interested in trading away Kittle, the one thing that I would trade him for is I would take Kittle and Dre Greenlaw, and I would see if I could go get DK Metcalf. Because you got to remember, they're in full rebuild mode. And Greenlaw, you know he can play. He's in his third year. Now you got somebody to build your defense around. But would they do that? That's the only way I would get rid of them. But that's something I would do. I would at least
hold on. Let's look. I kind of like this. Hold on. DK Metcalf. What do we know about DK Metcalf? Let's do it real quick. Okay, so he's 24, just turned 24.
Yeah,
he has missed 0 games in his career.
Yeah,
he would be freaking perfect for Trey Lance. Like, couldn't be better. I'm intrigued.
And the physicality with Debo and DK, but you would have to win immediately because you couldn't keep all three. There's no way that you keep DK, Ayuk, and Debo. That just wouldn't happen because they're all going to be great.
Then Ayuk can go. I'm sorry, I like Ayuk, but like Debo and DK as a duo, why would you not want that? And again, DK is 24 years old, so he could grow with Trey Lance as opposed to freaking Kittles, who's about to turn 29 in 6 months. So I kind of like it. I think that's kind of genius.
Yeah, that's the only way. That's the I've been thinking about that. I'm like, man, I gotta get in and see what Grant would think about this, because I was been thinking about this. I'm like, man, I gotta catch the phone. And so yeah, but I was wondering what you would think about that. But yeah, I'm telling you, I think that would be perfect if we did that.
They still got to address their offensive line, but again, you can do when Jimmy's gone.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Yes. I like it. Sure. I mean, as opposed, because I was saying like trade Kittle for a first and a second. That's cool, but are you sure you're going to get someone as good as 24-year-old DK Metcalf with either of those picks this year? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Seattle. I mean, you would have to throw Greenlaw in there only because they are rebuilding, and you can rebuild with him because they know that he can play. They know he can play.
One thing though, I have some connections in the league, okay, and from what I heard, DK Metcalf was 100% uncoachable last year. Wouldn't pay attention in meetings. Was very not disrespectful, but disrespectful to coaches. Like, I got this. Now, maybe he had reason to feel disdain for that offensive coaching staff, but those typically aren't the kind of players that the Niners bring in. Like, Kyle's all about the non-diva grinders, and Metcalf is a little bit kind of a diva who's like, just get me the ball on game days. So I like him. I think it'd be a good fit, but he'd have to like Kyle, you know what I mean? He'd have to sort of change his personality here.
Yeah, well, you got to think about it. The Gold Seahawks man wanted out because the offense was outdated. So maybe that had a little bit to do with it, you know?
So Wilson wanted out. I mean, yeah, a lot of guys on that offense wanted out. Maybe DK was just less diplomatic about it because he's 23.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I'll say just this one last bit.
Hold on real quick. Aztec MC says a Niners-Seattle trade will never happen. It's happened before. You know how the Niners got Reuben Foster? A trade with the Seahawks. Seahawks traded down, Niners traded up. It's definitely happened. Absolutely.
I mean, that physicality would just be something awesome, I think.
Hell yeah. But, and again, it's the deep threat the Niners need. The Niners have a bunch of guys who can play a bunch of different positions. They need some guy who can catch the 50, 60, 70-yard touchdown that Trey Lance can throw. That DK would be wasted with Jimmy Garoppolo on the team, but I think Trey Lance is wasted not having a deep threat in the team. We thought it was going to be Marquez Valdez-Scantling. It's probably going to be someone from the draft, but again, like wide receivers that are rookies typically aren't huge difference makers. I mean, even DK was a lot better in his second year than he was in his first.
Yeah.
Although he was pretty good.
Yeah, I got one more thing, man. Just one more thing. I just think that they have botched Jimmy Garoppolo, and they just need to cut this, man. This is why I say this, you know, because people forget where the 49ers were before he came. We weren't winning any games. If you were the owner of the 49ers and this magically just Bean came out and said, hey, look, man, if you trade for this quarterback, he's going to get you to a Super Bowl and possibly another one. Would you take it? Answer would be yes. You know, the only issue is we juiced everything out of Jimmy before people found out what he was.
Yeah.
And now the gig is up.
Yeah.
So it's just time to move on.
Yeah.
And
everyone
shout out
knows what he is. Everyone knows what Jimmy is. And the Niners are trying to act like they know that he's better than the rest of the league thinks he is. Then keep him then. Then why are you replacing him?
Yeah, you can't have everybody's watched the games from home. You can't have commentators saying, you got to keep the ball out of Jimmy Garoppolo's hands. You want him to throw as less as he can, 20 to 25. That's where you want. He's a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's supposed to throw the ball. That's like a shooting guard saying, don't shoot.
That's right.
So I mean, but
as long as he doesn't have the ball too much. Like, what? He has the ball every play. What are you talking about? So he's a handoff.
Yeah. The biggest indictment against Jimmy Garoppolo was when we were playing the Packers, 3rd and 9, we needed it to win, and we hand the ball off. Mm-hmm. Even though we got the first down. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's
and they did the same thing in Dallas the week before. It was 3rd and
Yeah.
Say 7 or 10 or whatever, and Debo came an inch short, and then Jimmy Garoppolo botched the freaking quarterback sneak. Remember that?
Yeah.
He called the snap too early, and then Kyle said it, and then Jimmy afterward he said, "Kyle said that." Like, well, that's what happened. That's what freaking happened. You should say it. You say it, Jimmy. Let's hear you say it. That's what Kyle said. Like, he broke some code. Nah, man, he just told the truth. You could tell it. You could try every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, he's done a lot for this organization. He's put us back on the map. But he was a stopgap. That's just what he was.
Yep.
And John Lynch. Yeah. And John Lynch is trying to get more for him. You're not getting anything for this man.
Nope.
He's out there. I mean, the only thing that you can do. I mean, I don't know how they play the games. With the business side and whatnot. Seems like they just gonna hold on to him like they did Cam Newton. He's not gonna come in, and then when it's time to cut bait, goodbye. I mean, he essentially screwed himself. I think the 49ers were up front. We're drafting a quarterback. We're doing this. We're doing that. And then when it got time for the trade to happen, we're gonna have soldiers shoulder. I can't get it out. Surgery. I mean, that's garbage, man. That's garbage. But we gonna see what's gonna happen. But I got one more thing for you before I go. When you're getting your stinger, my man, go ahead, put on that DJ Quick World Girl. Turn it down first.
I love that song. I love that song.
Yeah.
Too, man. I saw DJ Quick in concert 2 weeks ago in Oakland. It was so much fun.
How was it?
It was so much fun. He's great. It was him, Warren G, Too Short, Loonies, and they didn't have Sugar Free though. It would have been nice if Sugar Free could have came from Pomona and done his thing, but DJ Quick was there. I love rappers who are in their 50s. I'm like, I don't know. World Girl.
All right.
Like late DJ Quick. I'm all about rhythm. Like that's one of the best rap albums ever made. 97.
Yes. Yeah, I like that one and Safe and Sound.
Those are the two of the best rap albums ever made. Ever.
Oh yeah.
DJ Quick doesn't get enough credit. I'm glad we agree on that.
Yes.
You,
all right, Grant.
Later, man. Keneal says the only wide receiver I want is Christian Watson. Find a way. We need another wide receiver, yes, but on a rookie deal so we can pay our other guys for the time being. I like Christian. Get them all, man. Again, when you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, forget a budget. Forget what's possible. Get them all. Sign everyone. That's what I say. But, I'm just an amateur quality control person. What's up, Swan?
What's up, Grant? Okay, I got a couple of things to say. So you mentioned a few things a couple of weeks ago about Parag and the front office they were brought in to kind of right the ship, right? When the 49ers were going through that. It got me to thinking, in the corporate world, they do that. Like for when there's a recession or a company struggling, they bring in a right sizer, right? Yep. They literally call them a right sizer. They go, or she, they go in, the quickest way to get money off the books is to lay people off, right? They just do all these things. But corporations, what they do after they get that person the right size, say it's a year or 2 years or whatever, they bring that right sizer to another part of their corporation and do the same thing. But to the corporation or to the company that they just right sized, they then bring a person after that is the guy the idea guy, the guy that's going to grab market share. Yeah. That's what the 49ers need to pivot to, because they're in this right size mode since like 10, 12 years ago, and they're still in that mode, right? Because I'm sure they've done some prudent moves, they've done some things, but at the same time, we don't act on them. Like we had Jimmy, right? Last year we could it's a good deal, It's only a good deal if you act on it. Like we had to wait out of Jimmy. They didn't do it. They didn't have any, they didn't have the cojones to pull the trigger and just go with where they were going to go. And, that's frustrating. As far as free agency goes, Keneal and I, we've had our draft crush, right? Just Christian Watson. I know it's ridiculous, right? There's other holes that this team needs to fill. But one of the problems with this team, right, and the Shanahan system is it's hard to bring in guys that you can plug and play, right? Whether it's complicated, whether it's the wording, whatever, right? It seems like guys come in, they don't do well the first year, right? Unless you're on offense, right? Yeah, on offense, on offense. Like unless you're Trent Williams or some just crazy, just crazy good, right? So sure, we can draft an offensive lineman this year, but who knows if they're even going to start him? Like,
right. Look at Aaron Banks. Look at Aaron Banks. Right. Yeah.
Aaron Banks, Jalen Moore, and it's obvious they're going. You know what? The ship's already sailed on finding a free agent like offensive lineman. I think, right? Like a good one, like one that you can plug and play, right?
Lyle Collins just got signed. Yep.
Yeah, like we talked about Morgan Moses a few weeks ago. He was perfect because he's gone. He used the Shanahan system on the Jets, did fine, right? He's gone. Like and McGlinchey's injury is they didn't put a timeline on him, right? Like they put a timeline on Kinlaw. They said Kinlaw was probably going to be back at OTAs, blah blah blah. McGlinchey, they just said, well, yeah, he's progressing, but no timeline. So that's going to be one of those deals where it's week 5, week 6. Oh yeah, we I think we're going to activate him. I think we're going to activate him. By that time, what are we doing? Where Justin School, like who's coming off an ACL injury?
Yeah.
Like if you want to go crazy, of course this will never happen. But if you wanted to go crazy, get Christian Watson, right? You trade George Kittle to like say the Eagles, right, for pick 15, right? Mm-hmm. Then you trade down pick 15 and get somewhere in the late 20s. Then you can get Watson, and then whatever you got the capital from trading down from Kittle, from 15 to 28, then you spend that on, an offensive line, the team's needs, right? Offensive lineman, slot corner, strong safety, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know people are, oh, that's crazy. You can't trade Kittle, but like, it's not that crazy because if Kittle gets hurt next year or whatever, you're stuck. You got D4 2.0. Because they just renewed his contract.
It's crazy to me, man. And that's the main reason I'm interested in trading Kittle is the injuries. And like Niners are like, nah, it's not gonna happen. Okay. You guys have had the worst injury luck in the league of any team. You had one good year with injuries, and you're like, that's behind us. Like, okay, all right, yo, good luck.
Yeah, and another thing is all the people that think, oh, hey, you know what? We want Jimmy to compete with Lance, right? Like, you don't want that. I mean, you want competition. I get it. But if Jimmy's
what you're bringing in is roster politics. Competition is someone who's not beloved in the locker room.
Yeah,
you bring in competition. That's Tyrod Taylor. That's not this. This is roster politics galore. People already have their allegiances. It's already been decided.
Right. Yeah. You can't do this. It's like there's no way. Like I've made this discussion a few times. When you work with a guy, when you go to war with a person, or you're in a corporate setting or whatever, and you have a high pressure deadline project, when you work with these guys and you get the job done, you don't think about the other dude's deficiencies. You don't think about that. You think about, hey, you know what? I got through this. You're my guy. That you're not a new person.
Any person who says the Niners need to bring Jimmy Garoppolo back for competition is a Jimmy Garoppolo fan who knows that Jimmy Garoppolo will win the competition by default because he has all the support in the locker room, and they're just waiting to say, oh, well, if Trey Lance couldn't beat him out, then he must be terrible. That's what they want.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, and I don't know, like maybe Jed York, like they just love Jimmy. Like maybe that's one of the things that we're not seeing here, that they just love Jimmy. Like whatever the reason is, I don't know, but
they don't love Jimmy. They're committed to trading something for Jimmy. And so they can't name Trey Lance the starter until they move Jimmy, because that means that you're trading a backup quarterback instead of a starting quarterback. They're committed to this trade.
I understand that. But at this point, why is there any posturing still? Like any team that's going to get Jimmy at this point, right, is going to be a team that is desperate, meaning like one of their QBs is down. At that point,
why is there posturing? Because every team, very few teams want to admit mistakes, the Niners included. And so what they're doing right now is acting like they didn't mess up.
This is the safe face.
We didn't mess up.
Face. Yeah.
Even if we keep them another year, we get a comp pick next year, so we didn't mess up. That's what they're doing.
And see that that's the thing that's cancer, because that means that you care more about your face than the organization.
Yes.
Than the brand.
It's happening. That's why I feel that this venting session is necessary.
You know,
that's what's happening right now.
You know, in Japan, what they would do, right? They would seppuku. Like, you know what I'm saying? In Japan, like, back in the old days, they would just be like, "Hey, I dishonored my only way is to."
Got it. Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes. So I'm with you on that. I feel like the Niners, like to use another sword metaphor. Someone needs to fall on their sword here. Someone needs to fall on their sword and said, "I messed up.
Yeah.
This was my fault. Let's move on. We're taking the L. We're losing the battle so we can win the war." All those cliches. Someone needs to do that, but no one's gonna do it.
Fans will
no one's
respect
gonna
it.
do it.
Like real fans will respect it. Everyone's human. You make mistakes, you admit it, and you move freaking on.
You saw those quotes I put on Twitter from Bill Walsh, right?
Yeah, I love that one.
Admitting mistakes.
Yep.
Don't letting your arrogance get in the way, because if you don't admit a small mistake now, it becomes a bigger mistake. The mistake compounds itself.
Yeah, I love that quote.
All right, Swan.
Nailed it.
Swan, good call. I love you, man. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks,
Peace, man. Whenever I see him, I think of that quote from Billy Madison. Is it Billy Madison? Yeah, where he's hella drunk and he's hallucinating and he goes, "Stop looking at me, Swan." Sorry, it's not that funny, but I've memorized that movie. Anyway, the Remilia Sports Report. How are you?
Hey, Grant. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Good, man. That's a really nice microphone. I got to get that microphone in my room. The whole setup is great.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Hey, I just wanted to say you do a hell of a job, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. So do you.
I watch this show because it's entertaining. You don't mince words. You say exactly how it is, and it's ridiculous that in Ninerville they're still talking about Jimmy. I mean, get the cojones, cut the dude if you have to. I'll tell you what, we'll help the Niners out. We'll give him a 7th round pick, and he can get Stafford's he can get Stafford's dry cleaning and pick him up for practice and everything. I mean, it's ridiculous. Come on now. I mean, golly, that team is on the cusp of.
Let's stay with this for a second. As an outsider looking at the Niners stuck in neutral, frozen in time, unable to trade Jimmy, what is your reaction like?
We get a kick out of it. We respect them because they beat us so many times before, right? I mean, I don't know if they had some kind of voodoo over us or something. I don't know if they had pictures of McVay or something. I mean, I don't know. There's no reason why they should have beat us. They couldn't beat anybody else. But it's amazing that they're right on the cusp of being a Super Bowl window, and they let this guy. He already blew one Super Bowl for him, and then now he blew a championship game for him, and now he's making them lose players. So basically, the Niners Super Bowl window is almost shut. Yeah. And I, as a Ram fan, I love
keeping it open, like underneath, is Debo, just like single-handedly propping that damn window open. And not as like, just give up, Debo. We're not even.
And check this out, Grant. I'm just relaxing with my Super Bowl gear. I got more stuff coming in. As a Ram fan, we're relaxed. I mean, we're waiting for the Bobby Wagner news to come in that we're going to get even more of a monster in the NFC West. The Niner turmoil. The Seahawks are rebuilding. The Arizona Cardinals turmoil. I mean, it's beautiful for us. I mean, we went to the Super Bowl parade in Los Angeles and the Super Bowl parade in Disneyland. I was there too as a pass holder. They changed the Hollywood sign to the Rams house. I mean, I could die today and I'd be happy. I mean, we beat the Niners at the championship game. Oh, matter of fact, hold on. This just came in. This is the championship game in the Niners 75th season. We beat them.
Jeez.
So, I'm living life, it's things are beautiful, and props to the Niners, God bless the Niner players. Despite the incompetence in the GM and the head coaching, they almost got to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's amazing, but props to you and Vish Grant. You're amazing, dude. That's a great idea with the subscribers. To do the shows, and props to you, man. God bless you, and take care. And I don't understand the hold that Jimmy has over this franchise. It's amazing. I mean, we had a 1st round pick in golf, took us to he helped us get to a Super Bowl, and we cut him because we were tired of it. Niners, get the cojones. Get some of Eddie DeBartolo juice going and do what you need to do to win.
It's like you're trying to pump your friend up to dump his girlfriend. It's like, dude, you've been complaining about her for 4 years. You're 32. Move on.
Check
Your
this out,
life is
Grant.
passing you by. Why
Check
are you
this-
still complaining? Do it. Yeah.
You know how McVay and Shanahan are really good buddies, right? They're one of the best offensive minds in the league. Shanahan has the huge edge in the running game, but we have different personnel. Imagine the next conversation when once McVay has his ring and he wears it around around Shanahan. What do you think he's going to be a little in his feelings about that ring every time he sees it? That that McVay got it before him. And he was actually McVay's boss over in the Washington Redskins organization.
I would put it right in his face.
But all right, Grant, I'll let you go, brother. I appreciate it. I thank you for letting me come in, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime. See you around.
All right, brother.
All right. Take care. That's probably the last one of the day. No one else is in line. Hold on. I want to answer this question. Then I got to say something. I think next year they might use Debo less in the run game and more in the pass game since we have a passing quarterback that can actually throw. I disagree. I think he's going to be Roger Craig next year. I think he's going to get about 150 carries, maybe 70 catches, but we'll see. It'll be an interesting projection. It's going to be an interesting player for fantasy football too. All right, I got something I want to say about Richie James Jr. Hold on, let me make a little banner for it. Goodbye, Richie James Jr. Where did he sign? Richie James Jr. He went to the Giants. Okay, so the New York Giants. Hold on. The New York Giants recently signed Richie James Jr. It's an end of an era. Richie James Jr. was a 49ers legend with countless highlights and countless big plays. Honestly, I'm going to miss Richie James Jr. I always thought Richie James Jr. was a underused wide receiver with upside. Not a good returner. I think the Niners drafted him to be a returner and realized he's not a good returner. But I always felt that he was better than the wide receivers ahead of him, like better than Dante Pettis the whole time. For example, Richie James Jr. didn't play last year, was hurt. They just gave up on him. But he has 38 catches for his career and is averaging 18.1 yards per catch for his career. Big play guy. And now he's going to go somewhere and get some opportunities. I think he has a chance to do something. The Niners essentially replaced him with Ray McCloud. The Niners' big move on offense this year was to replace Richie James Jr. with Ray McCloud. And Ray McCloud is a better returner than Richie James Jr. No question about it. But Richie James Jr. is a better offensive player than Ray McCloud. Ray McCloud for his career is averaging 6 yards per catch. 6. One more than 5, one less than 7. Richie James averaging 18. You're bringing in Trey Lance. You don't have Jimmy anymore. You don't have to throw check down after screen after check down after screen the rest of the game. You don't have to do that. You want someone who can get down the field. And you essentially swap out Richie James Jr., who you drafted, you developed, and is a big play threat for Ray McCloud and his 6 yards a catch and his numerous fumbles. I don't know. I like Richie James Jr. I'm sad to see him go. I think he could actually be a good player. Now the Niners are again looking for someone who could average 18 yards a catch for them. He's gone. Well, at least there's always Travis Benjamin and Ray McCloud. I was emotionally attached to Richie James Jr. How dare you build up my hopes and then crash them? How does Richie James Sr. feel about this? Did anyone ask him? He must be devastated. Although, you know what? Maybe the Jameses are happy to get a real opportunity in New York. I don't know. Ray, you got some big shoes to fill, buddy. Big shoes to fill. Richie James Jr., good luck. I salute you. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be back when you least expect it. Or tomorrow with a members-only chat. Anyone can watch, but to talk, you don't have to donate. You have to be a member, which is like $2. I'm going to have to figure that one out, but I think I can do it. Peace.